fast. Universe of recovery. Something good for everybody. Oh, universe of recovery. Universe of recovery. Helping the world to be free.
Universal recovery. How you
Hey.
doing? How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you, Saf?
Not bad, man. I haven't seen you for 1 week.
Oh no.
It's like we've been away from each other. Huh? I mean, I'm an addict. I gotta see you every day. I can't see you just once. I gotta see you every day. You know what I was thinking, Serenity Sam?
Yeah.
I only did this yesterday because I was interviewed yesterday by a wonderful lady who you know, actually, Kristen.
Oh.
You know Kristen?
I don't know. I haven't met her properly yet.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Channeling thing going on. And
oh, cool.
What she did is that she invited guests. I wanted to speak to you off air, but she invited guests who could ask us questions live. So we could. What I'm going to do, guys, everyone who's watching right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link on the comments, so hopefully you'll see it, and then come in, man. If you want to ask us any questions, you'll be in the green room, and then once myself and Serenity Sam have said our little bits and bobs, then you can come on and ask us questions live. You don't have to show your face. You ask away, because we're here to help you. You know, we're a show about addiction, we're a show about trauma, we're a show about abuse, we're also a show about different kinds of universal laws. The law of attraction is here. Serenity Sam. The law of duality and heuristic escalation is here. Serenity Sam. So we got it all going on. And today what are we talking about today? Toxic shame, guilt and shame, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, we could talk about all sorts. All sorts. If you want to talk a bit about that, you go for it. I'll chip in with 2 cents.
Why not, man? Why not? Let's do that. But last week was a great first show, wasn't it? The responses.
It really was. It was.
And we just want to help people. And I say this every week. We just want to help as many people as possible. So please, if you want to ask us a question, I'm going to put it on the chat thing now. Just click on that, and it's come up. If you can see it, you can just ask us you can come on and speak to us live and ask us. And today, I think we are going to talk about guilt and shame and toxic shame, because I think that's a topic that people always talk about in addiction, don't they? They're quite related, right?
Well, it's all related. Negative thinking, positive thinking, alignment with your higher power, and understanding yourself as well, and understanding the things that trip us up, and then being able to, do something about it. That's what I think.
That's what it's about, yeah. And were you ever guilty in early recovery, or when you came? Were you ever guilty about the stuff you did? Because
I was guilty about everything. I couldn't stand on my own skin. I just gave all my power away all the time. Yeah. I just did. I was just an open wound, constantly. And I was just on a hunt to feel better. Yeah. I was just on a hunt. That is a good way of putting it. Because I was really unhappy because of what was going on in my head. My head was absolutely mashed. Yeah. And, I always had the worst case scenario running around in my mind. I always thought the worst thing that could happen would happen. I was the epitome of the law of attraction gone bad,
But the guilt and shame side of things, it doesn't just happen to people with addiction. It happens in life.
Yeah? Oh, it's everybody and everything, I
mean, in all probability, and this is to the people who are watching today and watching the repeat, you've all probably walked through, the path of life where you've had moments when you felt really, really proud, but you've also had moments when you felt really guilty or even chained. And we'd like to address this today, right? Serenity Sam,
Let's do it. I think you're probably more of an expert than me on this stuff, so I'm going to let you
What are you trying to
lead the
say?
way.
I've done so many guilty things in my life. What are you trying to say? I destroyed everyone around me? Well, you'd be right. You'll be right. I did. When I was in addiction, I was some of the stuff that I did, and I know people out there can relate to this, and not just people who were in active addiction or dependent on alcohol, drugs, or whatever it may be, behavioral addiction. But I know feeling guilty, it happens. It happens all the time. That moment of feeling guilty. But what is guilt? What exactly is guilt? How does it create? How does it result? What's it do? Now, if you go back and if you know and you go through your life and you're carrying around guilt on a daily basis, like I was for many years, it can affect you economically. There's people out there, and myself included, tend to minimize themselves. I had difficulties receiving money, holding on to money. It's because I was holding on to his guilt. I became a consumer. And I chose, and I still choose, to give others to compensate for my guilt. And I did that for many years. And so dissolving it can be very, very valuable. It was valuable to me. And it was only until recent times that I dissolved 30 years of guilt and shame that I was holding on to, Serenity Sam. Imagine holding on to some guilt and shame. That's why it's important that we dissolve it, man. I mean,
absolutely, it's so corrosive. It's one of the worst ones as well, because underneath all of this, and this is my take on it, and I'm going into the bit of the law of attraction stuff here, is that we are all so loved. We are so loved by source or our higher power. So it goes against the absolute grain of life to feel this hatred for yourself on any level. Any level. Anytime you're berating yourself, being negative to yourself, it's like source looks at us like we are the most appreciated blessing, and so once you see that of yourself, when you've cleared the way and cleared the path from all the hatred and the guilt, the shame, and all of the negative thinking, you start seeing how loved you are, irrespective of what you have done. As soon as you make the decision to love, it's like love comes in and supports you. And then this is what has been revealed to me, is the sheer level of love that is being projected onto me. And it goes beyond mother and father love. It's spiritual love that has been projected onto me on a moment to moment, second by second basis. So any time that I've gone right against it, it has been so painful. Horrible pain. If you're walking around feeling like you're worthless and you've got nothing to give and you've got no purpose on earth, you couldn't be further from the truth about yourself.
Correct. And it's so true about the lack of self-worth that comes with guilt and shame. I mean, the way I define it is it's an assumption, right? Here we are, really, Sam. It's an assumption that you have caused with your motor functions, with your actions, with some actions of your body, or at least a memory in the past, more pain than pleasure. You know me, more negative than positive, more challenge than support, more risk and reward, more disadvantage than advantage to somebody. Now, if you feel guilty, and you're assuming that what you've done has caused more pain than pleasure to somebody, that is an assumption. That is a perception.
Oh, it so is. And you have no idea what's going on in someone else's head either. And the whole thing about the 12 steps as well, that free and sort of like the moment you start disclosing what you think is the worst thing you've ever done in your life, you start realizing that it is not as bad as you think. It's like your sponsor will tell you things that they have done.
I remember when I was there, right?
Oh my God.
I remember I was there, step 4, step 5 and that. I'm in the car with him. I remember the moment. I'm in the car and I've catalogued catalogued everything I've done. And I was like, I'm like this, I'm shaking Serenity Sam with my paper, reading
Oh,
everything,
no, it's
everything
terrifying.
I'm guilty and ashamed about.
Oh, it's
I'm like this, I'm
terrifying.
sweating, my things are shaking. I'm thinking about, my God. I mean, I did some real harmful things. I was holding on to all of that. And you know
Oh,
what he said at the end of the
no.
list? And it must have been about an hour we were talking. You know what he said at the end? You know what he
What?
said? I've done that. That's what he said. I've done
This is
that.
it. This is
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and at the time for me, Saf, my sponsor at the time, I thought was a very well-to-do lady. And oh, the cringe, the cringe. Oh, you know what she was? She had the pearls and she had like this little suit on and everything. And she was like an AA sponsor as well, because couldn't quite find one with the clean time that I needed to do my 4 and 5. And I almost died doing it, but I tell you what, I thought if I can tell this woman my truth, then there's hope for me because I can speak the truth to anybody. But it was hard. It was hard. But the thing is, that's the great thing about being around other recovering addicts, and you know, just this freedom that you're not as bad as you think you are. And honestly, you know, this is the real big thing I always tell all of the people I ever come across that I work with in detox centers or if I sponsor whatever. Listen. Whatever you did in your using, you would never do it. Now you're clean. You have to remember that. These things that you did, you were crazy at the time. You were under the influence of madness, and now you're being restored to sanity, and you will never do those things again. I promise it. I really promise. I put my life on that statement that once you are transformed, your heart is transformed in the light, you will never do those things again. It's just the most incredible thing. You know, all the stuff I did, I know there's not a chance in hell I would do that now. Never.
No.
Never. So you know what you just have to sort of say, if this is just how my thinking works with it. I was crazy. I was under the influence. I tell this to myself. You can take it or leave it. You know, not everyone's ready to admit that they're crazy. But I know I was, you know, absolutely. Because, you know, you just don't do those things when you're in your right mind.
To be fair, Serenity Sam, you still got a bit of craziness in you, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mean to disrespect. But I don't know. I see a bit of you in me.
Well, I fully admit it.
You know what I mean? No,
I
but
absolutely admit it. Yeah.
you know, even though, and you rightly say it was the madness, it was the intoxications, it was the lifestyle that we had, the toxic lifestyle that we had.
Yeah.
There's still people today, however long down the line in recovery, and not everyone's done 12 steps, not everyone's done recovery, not everyone's done smart recovery, whatever modality that you haven't done. We still got to get through that.
I think so. I think you do need to face the beast in the eye. You do have to, even though
face the beast.
I love that. Even though there's no beast, it's like you need to face yourself in all of your truth and put the light of love onto it. That is all in my opinion, Saf, that is just, you know, you need to put the light of love onto all the crooks and crannies and all those little cracks that you think you're not worthy, that you think love cannot go there. You are going to be so surprised where love will go. I really think love is like a real like energy of this world that just binds it all together. It is the basis of absolutely everything in our universe until we start fully accepting its power and its power to come in and absolutely change and transform. That's the thing. But you do need to just be so open to this coming in. And that's why it's a really good thing to hang about with other recovering addicts, because you get so much love, irrespective if you've murdered someone, if you have thieved off your grandmother, if you have prostituted, you know, any of these things, there is love for you in these places. I have sat in rooms with murderers. I have been best friends with prostitutes. I've come close to all of those things myself as well, you know. I'm friends with people that have been in prison, the full whack. And the thing is, everybody deserves a chance at love. Everybody deserves a chance at love. I don't care who they are, they deserve that chance. And it's just finding those ways to get the love in. And it's about understanding what you have done. But when you have a real transformation from the heart, it's like you forgive yourself. You don't forget, and you know you'll never do it again. You have changed. That's the real amends. The change is the amends. You can't go any further than that. I don't feel. You can only forgive yourself fully to move on. You can't really get it from other people. You can't, that this is just how I feel, Saf. It's like, until you really, really let yourself off the hook. Though I know I had to go through the full spectrum to get there. I've done droves of step work, droves of writing about this stuff, trying to understand it. But it's so fascinating once you understand that you're just human and you have a whole spectrum of feelings. There's a new start that is available. Absolutely. Yeah, but we do have to look in the eye of ourselves and go, you know what? There's good things about me and there's bad things about me. There was good and there was bad, and there was things that served me. There was things that didn't serve me. Now, which do I choose? Now, I think a lot of the past stuff was practicing that negative thinking. We really got to get the hell out of it. We got to really do a 180 away from it. Whenever I'm talking to people in recovery and detox and everything else, I really think our biggest problem is our morbid thinking. We've got to do everything to try to get the hell out of it. Now, I understand we need to talk about it and thrash it out and face it. And then when you're ready, we got to let it go.
Beautiful. I could have said it better myself. And you know what? And it's not running out. We want to get rid of it, but we've got to acknowledge it. I keep on saying to you guys out there, there's no pain without pleasure. There's no loss without gain, right? Never one-sided events. Everyone gets caught up in this. So anytime you're carrying around a guilt, it's because you've assumed that there's still only a drawback to that person you've done the action to. So if you feel guilty, it's wise to first define specifically what specifically did you do or not do in some case for you to feel guilty. Now, let me give you an example, right? I'll tell you what I felt guilty. I'll tell you what I've done. Yeah. I've done some very harmful things in my life, and I know you have done as well. And a lot of it I put down to the addiction and the intoxication. And when you're in that state of mind, with the copious amount of cocaine I was doing, alcohol, the crystal meth that took me to a level that you do things out of character on most drinking drugs, right? But crystal meth really does take the biscuit, really, yeah. And I miss my. Got to get on a bit of a deep one here, yeah. The night my father died, I knew he was in hospital. I knew his time was coming close, but I was so intent on getting my fix, Serenity Sam. And I went out that night to central London. I live in Kent, when I shouldn't have gone. And I took, I was heavily on cocaine and drinking and crystal meth. And I get the phone call, which I ignored about 3-4 times. Eventually I answered and I was asked to go to the hospital about 100 miles away from where I was, 70 miles away. And it was hard. It was really, really, really hard for me. I've held on to that guilt and shame because I miss my father passing away. And I held on to that for years and years and years. And because of that, I never had any self-worth. I beat myself about it. I used more drugs and alcohol. After that, in fact, crystal meth went to a different level after my dad passed away. So experiencing trauma right there. But the biggest thing for me, apart from losing a loved one, is I wasn't there, and I was holding on to that guilt and shame. And I know I wasn't there because I was off my face.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of work for myself, did a lot of social behavioral, human behavioral work with Dr. John D. Martini and a few other people, which I do now. And I managed to dissolve that guilt and shame.
Yeah, you shouldn't hang on to that. That's
No,
fine. That's
no.
what we do. That is what we do. I've got similar stories. When I was in labor, I was smoking weed just before I had my child, and my partner at the time was absolutely wasted, and he was like taking the gas and air and getting stoned off it. It was a joke. It was an absolute joke. And this is like giving birth to your child. It's just supposed to be like your magical moment. And it was hell. He didn't even come and see me for 2 days. I was never so destroyed in my life. I hated him with all my heart for that, And it's like, how can you not come to the hospital when you've just had a child? It was just, it really goes against every amount of morality you've got in going on that you thought that you even had, when it goes even past that level. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, again, you would never do that now, and I would never do that now either. I was under the influence of something else other than source. Let's just put it that way. I was under the influence of something else. And when you get into alignment with your higher power, or whatever the heck you want to call it, you've got love, and you've got compassion and care, and you would never in a million years do these things. And so it's just like, if we just got to accept that, whatever was going on in our heads, we were practicing that. I mean, at that point, I had been using for 25 years. I didn't know any better. You were in no fit state to go see your father at all, And
This is it.
You would no fit state.
There's a benefit to every negative, and there's a drawback to every positive. We've got to look at both sides. I've got Tom who's asking, who said a big thing. Tom, I can read it out if you want, but if you want to come and join us, I've put the StreamYard link, so you could come on live and actually ask the question yourself. So I'll give you a couple of minutes if you want to come. If you don't come on in a couple of minutes, I can speak to Serenity Sam and ask her, and basically read what you've put. But thank you very much for what you've put. I think it's really, really good question, and we will answer that either from your message, or if you come on the link. I'll put the StreamYard links, and it's not just for you, Tom. Anyone who wants to come on live right now with Serenity Sam and Serenity Saf, come on now, and we'll get you on, and we'll talk to you, and we'll try and accommodate you as well as we can. So I'll give you a couple of minutes, Tom. And if you're on, you're on. If you're not, then
this is it. We all need love, Saf. We all need love. And we all need love on every one of these situations that you feel as though you are not worthy of love, or you feel like you've cut off. Because you said something so important, what you just said just a moment ago. And this is something I really like to just remember as well, for myself and for anyone who wants to listen. We don't just use drugs. We use negative energy. So we use negative energy like a drug.
There you go.
All right. So we ruminate on this stuff. And you know what all it does? This is just my opinion. All it does is hold you away from the goodness. Right? It only holds you away from the love, because you're going over it and over it. And it's like another addiction. It's like an addiction within the addiction. Do you get what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like you're thinking about it, you're going into it. Now you use that excuse to be a bastard, or to be like, separate from society, or you like to cut off your family and not see that person. So we use on the using and use on the using. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as well with the stuff that I'm teaching and the stuff that I'm going forward with, is that this is actually a more serious problem for the general public than even the hardcore, meth user. In some ways, you can almost justify it. You know what I mean? You can almost justify it. It's like, I was crazy. I was on drugs, and I had this negative thought, and I kept on going with it. But this is the problem, in my opinion. What's going on in all of society right now is this ruminating. And all it does is you're using a thought to hold you away from all the goodness in life. I know we've seen an example of this in the 12 steps, right? We just had to get over ourselves. We just had to find a way to love ourselves, or we were going to go back to using. But using is also to my, I don't know what I'm really going for here, but using is also using negative thoughts. It's like, oh.
Carry on from what you said before I get to Tom's question. Guilt and shame, holding on to guilt and shame.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, and it brings more guilt and shame.
It does, and it's addictive as well. Oh, all that juicy negativity that you can rev up and get in the pot with other people and rev it up and rev it up. It's like, it's really dangerous stuff. Like for us recovering addicts, we've got to get away from that.
Yeah. Right, Tom, check this out. The heart is the portal. Our animalistic predator or prey, that's what I say, culture has created a culture of closed hearts. Many of us feel that we need to protect our hearts from being hurt, betrayed, or broken. So we build, and in brackets most often unconsciously, invisible walls around them, and the flow of love is blocked. Why so many divorces and breakups? One big reason could be that for a relationship to succeed, it takes two hearts that are totally open to one another, that is no holding back, to really feel connected. Before Serenity Sam, I'll let us take that into fantastic question, Tom. Fantastic. What you've written there is so beautiful. My take on, and I'll talk about the relationship side of things, and if Serenity Sam could talk about the protecting the hearts and for being hurt and broken. But in terms of the relationship side of things, I'm a strong believer is a lot of relationships aren't fruitful for the main reason is because we expect each other to live up to each other's values. And that, for me, is a no-no. We never put anyone on the pedestal. We never put anyone in the pit. We put them in our hearts. Yeah, if we expect someone to live up to our values, and we shouldn't, and we shouldn't live up to anyone else's values. We should bring it to an equilibrium and try and live as equality. Because if I Serenity say, imagine you and me are married, huh? Imagine you're my wife. Imagine you're my wifey, and you want me to cut the grass every day, right? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So already we've got the beef going on, right? But if you insist that I do it, if you insist that I do it, just to keep peace, I'll do it. But I'll be doing it with resentment, with unhappiness, with sadness, because I'm living up to your values. Yeah? If I say, look, Serenity Sam, I want you to watch Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Watch a bit of soccer with me. Not saying you don't like football, but just give you an example. Maybe you don't like football. Just say you don't like football. I want you to sit with me and watch every single match and wear the shirt with pride, with the flag behind us. If you don't, we ain't talking tonight. So you might do it and you'll do it with resentment because you want to do something else. Because I'm expecting you to live up to my values. Yeah. Nobody should live up to my values. And I should not live up to anyone else's values. I shouldn't put you up on a pedestal. You shouldn't put me on a pedestal. I shouldn't put you on a pit. You shouldn't put me on a pit. We should put each other in people's hearts. The question to you is, from Tom, is many of us feel that we need to protect our hearts from being hurt, betrayed, or broken. So we build, most often unconsciously, invisible walls around them. What's your answer to that?
Well, I would say that when you are not in alignment, you have to build walls. But when you are in alignment, you are free. You are free to be yourself. You give other people freedom to be themselves. Everything is going in the right direction for you, irrespective of what the other person is doing. Right? The moment that we're guarded is the moment that we're not in alignment. Because when you are in alignment, and let's call alignment your happy place. Like, we don't have to call it anything kind of spiritual. We just call it your knowing, confident, happy place. It is about getting there as well. And it's about practicing being in your own skin with your own thoughts, connected to your own higher power. And then you don't need anybody. You don't need anybody to agree with you. You don't need protection from anybody, because whatever anybody says is irrelevant. You are your own person standing in love yourself. Either they want to experience that with you, or maybe they don't. Maybe they want to do something else. Maybe they're not interested in what you have to say or what you want to do. And that is absolutely perfect. A bit like what Saf said, being with somebody else is not about having to if you're trying to protect yourself from somebody's negative energy, you're going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. You got to get so many times I've come up here, I've had a little bit of ado with my husband, and I've got what I do, I never talk it out with him. I get myself into alignment first, and then I've got the right feelings and information inside that everybody benefits from. See, it's all about getting yourself into your own power and then walking forward into the world with others. Does that make sense?
It's and you said that so beautifully. And I think the most important thing as well, and we've got another question from Teresa. Teresa, if you want to come on live, I've put the StreamYard link on top. So please feel free, come on live and ask a question, whatever you want. Get involved with us. If you don't, in the next couple of minutes, I'll read your question anyway. It's a quite straightforward question. But I think it's important to carry on from what Sam just said, what Serenity Sam said, is that do not regret the past. Yeah. Do not be victims of your past. Be masters of your destiny. Acknowledge what's happened. Look at it how it serves you today. Yeah. Look at the benefits. I know it's hard to look at benefits of things that you've done really harmful or negative, but I promise you there are benefits, just like there's drawbacks to anything that's positive. Look at the both sides. Look at the both sides. Do not get bought in this fantasy of a one-sided perception, and then bring it to an equilibrium. And I promise you, you will dissolve your guilt and shame. Dissolve. Steve Webber's coming on. Before Steve comes on, Teresa says, where can we find out more about Universal Recovery? Well, that's great. Well, look, this is our show, Universal Recovery. We're on every Monday. What day is it? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. We're on every Tuesday at 6 p.m. If you want to contact us individually or through Spirituality Gone Wild, you can come through Spirituality Gone Wild. You can contact me through my Facebook page, Saf Buxy, Serenity Sam's Facebook page, Serenity Sam. My website's safbuxy.com. There's many ways you can, if you want to ask any questions about Universal Recovery. But we hope to continue the show for as long as it's needed. But it's every Tuesday at 6 p.m. UK time. I don't know where you're from, Teresa, but I hope that answers your question. Let's bring in Mr. Steve Webber. I'm sure he's got a question. Stevie, baby. What?
Whoa. Hey. Serenity Steve here.
I love it.
I love that.
That's cool.
Serenity Sam is coming on the American Gumption Morning Show in 2 days on Thursday.
No, really? Wow. Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you, Steve.
Wait a minute. Steve, I know I've been on your show, but you know me and Serenity Sam come as a pair now. Just saying. I'm not with that, Steve. I'll just say right away, I'm my own woman.
Well, hey, so I got some good news, though. I want to share with you guys.
Values, right?
Oh, let's hear Steve's good news.
So, Monday, the 21st of December, 4 years for me.
What? Well done.
While you're on, Steve, that's great, and keep up the good work.
Fabulous.
We've been talking about guilt and shame and toxic shame. Did you hold on to that at all at any time in your life or in your recovery life?
Oh yeah, in fact, I had yesterday. Joan of Angels was on. She's doing a regular segment on once a month, and afterwards we stayed on and talked a little bit more. And right away I started, and she says, "Man, you're really hard on yourself." And I was like, I'm still holding on to a little bit of that stuff. So it was a great lesson. I keep learning it. I keep learning it every day. So yes, it's a journey.
Yeah. Of course it is. It's an unfolding that happens over a lifetime, I'm sure. But the quicker we get over it, the better life becomes.
Exactly.
And what a life we're having now, Stevie. What a life. I remember when we first met, and we hit it off straight away. It's like you knew I was an addict. It's like I knew you were an addict. I knew we know each other. But it's not about what we were, it's what we are today. And the reason we are today and the reason where we're going is because we do not hold on to that guilt and shame anymore. Because if we did, there's every chance that we'll be back to that lifestyle. Every chance.
And it really is about changing. It's like, you can only really hold your head up high with it when you know you have changed. So there's no apology to the outside world. The only thing that you know is in yourself. You know that you have transformed your heart, so then you can move on. That's when you can really move on. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, all of that stuff, it's well worth talking to another recovering addict, thrash it out, even get into the spiritual stuff if that's for you. Say a prayer, give it up, let it go, do something that lets it go, even if it's a ceremony, whatever it is, whatever way takes you there. But it's well worth just connecting with another person, or if you're feeling it, just in yourself with your maker, whatever you want to say, and just give it up. And move on and know that you have changed. This is the thing. Know that you have changed. See, I used to go with married men. Yeah, that was my thing. I would never ever have more than a 2-week relationship with a man. And only till I really, really put it to rest. I wasn't going to say put it to bed. Put it to rest.
I'm a married man, but you know what? It's not like that.
But was I granted a marriage that I was then ready as a mature person to walk forward into? And I know I would never, ever, ever do that to my husband because I love him. I'm just saying a whole transformation has happened. I'm a married woman, faithful woman, just, in a divine marriage. And that is what I want. The thing is, I had to do all that contrast stuff to know what I did not want. I did not like being the second woman. Right? And that really got my goat up. And I had to learn that lesson, that I was better than being the second woman in line. I was better than snatching someone else's husband. I was better. I was worthy of a marriage. I was worthy of a relationship. I was worthy of 12 years of marriage. So I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a rant, but I'm just sort of saying that's the change. That's the whole transformation that happened. That like, it's not good enough just to sort of wish that you had a husband and you think you can just correct it through that and not have had that change in yourself that really sees the benefit of having this wonderful thing that you've learned your lesson through. So just wanted to say that.
No, thank you for that. And on the outside as well, I mean, it seemed I had a picture perfect life. I had a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children, lovely house, car, job, everything. But I still felt isolated, and I still did what I did. So what was missing in my life? What was missing in my life that made me go down the path of alcohol, drugs, gambling, the whole lifestyle? What was missing? And even until I dissolved that guilt and shame of what was missing in my life, I had no self-worth. Steve, I got self-worth. I love myself now. You gotta love yourself to love others. You gotta love yourself to love others. If I didn't love myself, I wouldn't love you, Stevie.
Yes.
Stevie, I love you.
You do. It's not a conceited thing. It's not a vain thing. This is a thing we've got to change. That loving yourself is not conceit and it's not narcissism. We've got to get these words away from this like positivity. We've got to get these words away from confidence and knowing and feeling good in yourself.
Yes, I'm gonna do a little dance. That got me excited, Steve. Ferocious, aren't you, Serenity Sam? Ferocious. Stevie, what's up, man? What's been going on with you, man? Tell me something. Tell me something new.
I think the biggest thing is that the way my life has changed in the last 4 years is I now have freedom. And I did not have freedom before because it became 5 o'clock and I would have to, drink some beers every night and just enough to kind of numb things and set me back. And I lived in a cycle of like one step forward or two steps forward every day and one step back. And then some days it was one step forward and two steps. So I was just kind of treading water for, many years. I was like inching ahead, but never could end up making, any real lasting momentum. So for me, the last 4 years has represented freedom. And that is to be able to just, keep going day after day and not be like chained to a habit that was really a very destructive habit. So that's all.
Just
I like the way you say chained to a habit. I say imprisoned in my own mind, trapped, entrapped, ensnared. All these words. Look at them: entrapped, ensnared, chained. These don't sound good, does it, Serenity? Anyone else?
It is hell on earth. It's hell on earth. It's hell on earth. And the key is a lot in your mind as well to start living heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. You just wanted to start pivoting and going towards that thought. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth.
Yeah. It's positive affirmations. Guys,
swimming in it, just washing the head out of all this negativity.
Steve,
I'm going to say goodbye, guys. I just wanted to crash your party and say
Thank
hello.
You.
We'll see you on Thursday morning, Serenity.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you as always, Stevie.
Oh, how fabulous.
Oh, yeah. What a lovely guy.
I love all these success stories. I love hearing people that say they had the dark night of the soul and they've been down in the pits of hell and now they're working their way back out into life and into loving themselves and into the world and all these wonderful things. I just love these stories.
Yeah. So, and these stories can only happen if we get rid of the guilt and shame. If we dissolve the guilt and shame, we can't stay in that rut. Because whilst we stay in that rut, there's no way forward. And as I say, there's every chance you're going to go. Because I remember, and tell me if you can relate to this, Sam. I remember when I was using on a regular basis and kept on doing it, and usually at the end of the evening, or shall I say, the afternoon, 2 afternoons after, whatever, I feel really guilty and really ashamed that I haven't seen the family, I haven't seen the miss, I haven't gone home, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. So do you know what I did to get rid of that guilt and shame? I used more.
Of course you did.
I used more.
It's a trap. It's just an absolute trap that goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's, to break it, you need some help and support because it's just it's so strong. I know it almost killed me as well, Saf. It almost killed me. I was so close to being killed by this. And, what was going on in my head as well. And I was brought up and I have to say, Saf, the average person is brought up with such huge guilt and shame. There's the average, not even the hardcore addict, just your average human being is shamed to death by parenting, by a lot of parents. A lot of parents are not standing in alignment of empowering the children to have their own minds and to be respected and to be honored and to have that mindset that they have an inner being that can guide them. They don't need the parents to be controlling the hell out of them. Right. And so parents control the hell out of the children because the parents want to feel loved. And the parents will do things codependently to the children. And so they will shame the children into control. It goes on and on and on and on and on. I mean, so much correcting needs to happen in the world, in my opinion, because not even the hardcore stuff, even the very basic stuff is not being addressed in this world. And that's why I just want to keep on talking about it as well. I want to keep on talking about the children. I want to keep on talking about the parenting. I want to keep on talking about how do we get raised in the light? How do we get raised with this sort of confidence and empowering people to be their own person and that we can trust their alignment with source. This is the big thing, because without that, we are in control. We are in anger. We are in just banging it into shape to everybody. And it's not the love. That's not the way of love. Parents say they love their children, but they're not behaving in a loving way whatsoever. Get here, you little arsehole, whatever. All that, any of that will have an effect on your vibration. That will have an effect on your vibration and how you think and how you feel scared or unsettled and unhinged. If someone is unhinging you in your thing and you're not strong enough to stand, in your own self, it's going to have an effect. And this is all the undoing we all need to keep on talking about, the unraveling and the undoing of all of these things that happened to us along the way that have stuck in. And we just got to get rid of it, rid of all of it. That's your stuff. That's your stuff. That's your stuff. That was not my stuff, but also, and I'm going further here. I'm sorry. I just have to rattle on slightly.
Go ahead, girl. You go, girl.
We are a vibrational match to everything that happens in our lives. So we are a mirror to everything that is happening. I really, truly believe this, Saf, that these contrasting situations are there for us to grow. If we, like you said a little bit earlier, if we can just look at all of these contrasting situations, like our wonky parenting that we received off our parents and good, and we can look at all of the things that have happened in our lives that we did. We crashed the car when we were drunk when we were 16, and we did lines of coke off someone's arse or something, whatever. Right? Whatever. All these contrasting things.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe that's next week's show. I don't know.
Okay, let's go a bit farther.
Definitely toilet seats, but that's another story.
But all of it, we just look at it all. Like okay, it started somewhere. Who knows where it started? It's very hard to go back and say where. Probably the parenting. Let's put it that. We became a vibrational match to all of this negative energy, and then we exacerbated it by our thoughts and our focus in on it. So what at the end of the day, if we do start focusing on it so much, things will improve, because I believe it's the natural dominant force in the universe is well-being and love. So I'm just putting that out there in that little nugget.
When you talk, Serenity, it's so inspiring to hear your views, inspiring to hear your inspirational knowledge and language. It comes out and it helps our people who are watching today. It's all about spirituality, not always, but connection. It's about connection. It all comes down to being connected with your source, connected with yourself, and connected with others. Without connection, disconnection can kill you. Guys, we've only got a few minutes left.
I know.
We've only got a few minutes left. You still have an opportunity to click on the StreamYard link and come on and ask us a couple of questions, and we may, just may, stay on a bit longer. But yeah, so Teresa, Universal Recovery, you can find us here every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. UK time. Serenity Sam, you got your own show. When is it? Monday, 11 o'clock?
At the moment, I'm on my Law of Attraction page. I'm Serenity Sam, the Law of Attraction teacher, and I am I'm going to do a video every Monday at 11 a.m. But I am also starting a new show on Spirituality Gone Wild called Alignment Alchemy. And it's going to be all about the law of attraction. It's all going to be all about this thinking and everything else. So that is still just, get up off the ground. But that's going to be on a Saturday as well at 5 p.m. So I'm very excited about that. Very, very, very excited.
That's 5 p.m. UK time, just for people who are watching from across the pond. So so you can find Serenity Sam in those ways as well. You can find me on this show, of course, every Tuesday at 6. Also, I've got one show, Inspirational People, Inspirational Stories, every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK. And, of course, on Sky TV every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And I've got a radio show every Sunday, 7 p.m.
You're so busy. We're doing so much good stuff.
Well, but you know why we do what we do? Because we have no more any guilt and shame. You get me?
And I always say to everybody, Saf, and I say this to myself on a regular basis, I only ever talk about my past. I never talk about my past, ever. I never talk about my past to my husband. I never talk about my past when I'm just out with my friends and hanging out and in nature and having fun and enjoying life. I talk about my past when it serves other people to have some identification and support and encouragement and inspiration to go forward. That's the own, and I love it. I love my past. I love everything. I think, I just feel it's a blessing to have these two lives in one. This wonky, dodgy side and this beautiful, in alignment, like loving side. I wouldn't be who I am today without all of it. And I talk about it with pride as well, because I know that I have changed.
Beautiful. I think that's a great note to finish on, guys. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back again next week, 6 p.m. But you can find myself and Serenity Sam on all the other platforms that we spoke about. So until next week, say bye, Serenity Sam.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
Universal recovery. Something good for everybody. Oh, universal recovery. Help the world to be free. We like to have fun and we like to have a laugh. It's